Hi friends, welcome to English Study Point. Today in this video lecture, I am going to talk about some abolitionist writers as well as their important works. First, I am talking about Oluda Ikwiano. So he belongs from Nigeria. He was enslaved at the age of 11. He was transported to areas such as Caribbean, Virginia, and in these areas, he endured harsh conditions of plantation life. Equiano managed to purchase his freedom in 1766. It means that he bought his own freedom in this particular year, and finally he decided to settle in England and became an activist in the abolitionist group of ex-slaves, which is called as Sons of Africa. This Sons of Africa was an abolitionist organization founded by African and American men in London in the late 18th century. Equiano joined group of ex-slaves called as Sons of Africa in the year 1786. He worked with other prominent activists such as Ignatius Senko and Ottobah Hugo Eno. He, becoming part of this group, made efforts to raise awareness. So he, as a member of the Sons of Africa, Equiano contributed to their efforts to raise awareness about the cruelty of the slave trade and advocate for its abolition. He participated in public speaking engagement, wrote letters and essays, and used his own personal experiences as formerly enslaved person. This he did to provide a powerful voice against the institution of slavery. I must say here that this group called as Sons of Africa created a platform for formerly enslaved individuals to contribute to the abolitionist cause. And activism of the members of this group helped them to advance the ideas that led to the eventual abolition of slave trade in the British Empire in the year 1807. Now, here I am discussing important work published by Oluda Equiano, and this work is titled as The Interesting Narratives of the Life of Oluda Equiano or Gustavus Vassa, the African, which was published in the year 1789. This book describes his experiences as an enslaved person and highlights the inhumanity and brutality of the slave trade. It played a crucial role in shaping public opinion and generating support for the abolitionist movement in Britain and US. This work continues to offer insights into the lived experiences of enslaved people and serves as a reminder of the horrors of slavery. So, Equiano's narrative was one of the first published accounts written by a former enslaved person. Equiano's advocacy and writing were instrumental in inspiring others to join the fight against the slave trade, contributing to eventual abolition of the institution. Whatever he wrote inspired others to write and give them spirit to release emotional pain by writing about slavery and encouraging others for abolition of this institution. Another abolitionist poet that I'm talking about is Phillips Whitley. Phillips Whitley was born in Gambia, which is situated in West Africa, in the year 1753. She was captured and enslaved at the age of 7. She was transported to Boston, which is in Massachusetts, and sold to Whitley family. So afterwards, she lived with this family called as Whitley family. This family, recognizing her intelligence and talent, provided her with an education. So, this particular family educated her. Whitley quickly mastered the English language and began studying various subjects such as Latin, Greek, literature, and theology. At the age of 14, Whitley wrote her first published poem titled as On Messrs. Hussey and Coffin, which appeared in a newspaper. So, this particular poetry collection made her gain recognition, and she became well known for her elegies after publishing this particular poetry, and also known for verses, and her elegies and verses are dedicated to famous public figures. In the year 1773, Whitley published her first book of poetry collection titled as Poems on Various Subjects, Religious and Moral. So, this was the first published book by an African American in the English language. Her work received praise from prominent figures of the time, including Benjamin Franklin. In this poetry collection, she focused on themes of Christianity and addressed social and political issues like slavery. Another work titled as On Being Brought from Africa to America, this work explores the contradiction of being enslaved in a country claiming to be the land of the free. Then another work is To the Right Honorable William, Earl of Dartmouth. In this poem, she addresses the ills of slavery. Phyllis Whitley's works, whether they are elegies or verses which are dedicated to public figures, they actually try to challenge societal norms in this time of racial inequality and try to showcase power of literature as a tool for social change. Her poetry laid the foundation for future African American writers and intellectuals. Whitley died in the year 1784 at the age of 31. Her legacy as a poet and abolitionist lives on even after her death. Another major abolitionist writer is Josiah Henson. He was an African American abolitionist and minister born into slavery in a place called Maryland. He lived from 1789 to 1883. So, during this time span, he endured numerous hardships throughout his life. He acts as an inspiration for the character of Uncle Tom in Harriet Beecher Stowe's novel called Uncle Tom's Cabin. So, he believed to have inspired the character Uncle Tom in Uncle Tom's Cabin. He established the Don settlement in Canada. Don settlement served as a refuge for escaped slaves, providing them with land, housing, and job opportunities. Henson also founded a school and a church in Don, emphasizing the importance of education and spirituality in the lives of black Canadians. Henson's memoir, titled as The Life of Josiah Henson, formerly a slave, now an inhabitant of Canada, as narrated by himself, was published in the year 1849. This memoir recounted his experiences as a slave and his escape to Canada, shedding light on the hardships endured by African American in the US. He published expanded version of his autobiography titled as Truth Stranger Than Fiction Father Henson's Story of His Own Life, published in the year 1858. Another work published by him is Uncle Tom's Story of His Life, an autobiography of the Rev. Josiah Henson, published in the year 1876. Here I am going to talk about Sojourner Truth. She was born into slavery in the year 1797 in a place which is situated in New York called as Ulster Country. Her birth name was Isabella Baumfree, but she changed her name to Sojourner Truth because God wanted her to spread truth. After escaping slavery in this year, Truth became an abolitionist and women rights activist. She started giving powerful speeches in which she talks about her experience as a slave and advocated for the end of slavery and equal rights of African American women. She became well known for a speech with a famous refrain called Ain't I a Woman, which she delivered at the Ohio Women's Rights Convention in the year 1851. In this speech, she highlights the inequalities faced by African American women and argued that they deserve the same rights as white women. Through powerful words challenge the prevailing notion that women were weak and delicate. She resists all these sayings. Rather, she emphasizes that black women were just as capable and deserving of rights as like white women. Important work of Truth is her autobiography titled as The Narrative of Sojourner Truth, which was published in the year 1850. In this book, she recounts her life story as a slave and her journey to freedom. The autobiography served as a powerful tool for abolitionists as it humanized the experiences of enslaved people and shed light on the horrors of slavery. She played a significant role in the fight for both abolition and women's rights, inspiring many with her powerful speeches and writings. So, her speeches and writings helped to shape the course of American history in this way. Here I am talking about Harriet E. Wilson. Harriet Wilson was born in the year 1825 in a place called Milford, which is there in New Hampshire. She was an African American author considered to be the first African American woman to publish a novel in the United States. Her most famous work, titled as Our Nick semicolon sketches from the life of a free black, which was published in the year 1859. This novel is a semi-autobiographical account. It depicts Wilson's own experiences as a poor racially mixed woman in the 19th century New Hampshire. This is considered to be as first novel by an African American to be published which describe race relations. Also, it is autobiographical in nature and also described as a sentimental fiction. In the north, there is a lonely white woman called Mag Smith. She is seduced by a ravisher who leaves her and her child to her fate. The child dies and she marries a black man called Jim, with whom she has a daughter called Fredo and a son. So the novel is the story of Fredo based on the life of the author. 6 years old Fredo, who is also called as Nick, is left with the Bellomont family. And there is a character who is called as Mrs. B, who is abusive while her husband is affectionate to Nick but wouldn't stand up for her. So, our Nick tells the story of Fredo, a young mulatto girl abandoned by her white mother and mistreated by her adopted white family. And that adopted white family is that of Bellomont family, where there is a character whose name is Mrs. B. She is very much abusive and her treatment towards her is very cruel, while Mrs. B's husband is affectionate to Nick but wouldn't stand up for Fredo. So at the end, Fredo leaves the house and gets married to a man who also abandons her. She has an illegitimate son and her health is broken after years of abuse. So this novel is all about all these things. The novel explores themes of racism, oppression and struggles faced by individuals who do not fit neatly into societal expectations. Now with this video lecture ends here. Hope this video lecture will help you in your UGC NET English Literature exams. Thank you.